Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Endeavor, and how Day Zero went from a pro's perspective. Endeavor saw a lot of things happen. The man could not use his quirk very well, and the days before Day Zero finally wreaked havoc on the world, where every single mutant suddenly turned on their fellow man, along with a number of pros who were dealing with their own problems. Now, Endeavor saw a lot. He saw a zombified Mirako attack. He even saw her get shot directly in the heart and still stand, taking multiple rounds to the chest while she was facing off against Machinist. And this meant quite a lot. The man was aware of a few things. The city was in complete chaos. Nobody could get through to emergency services or the proper authorities. All of them were being attacked and killed all at once by pros. And this was very bad. Endeavor made his way back home to try and make sure his family was safe. Make sure Fiyumi and Natsuo were okay. However, whenever he got a phone call talking about getting people to safety and a bunker, this meant a bit. He was told that UA fell to the infected. He was even told hospitals were overrun. And that meant quite a bit. Endeavor already lost one son, and he believed he lost another. Even whenever he saw UA in the distance, covered in ice and burning, he still thought about going there to retrieve Todoroki. However, he'd be abandoning the family he knows are still alive. They need him. He couldn't take that risk, especially after knowing what was going to be happening. They were being chased down and hunted by zombies. Even some former pros the man knew. And the bunker was sealed until it was opened a few days ago, if not about a month ago if my timetable is correct. Now, while Mr. Endeavor was glad to find his son alive, we also had somebody else who was alive. Somebody who came crawling out of those primordial waters known as the Pit. And Izuku Midoriya found himself back in the land of the living, only aware of a few things. His body is fully regenerated. His mind feels sound. And right now, he's concerned about all the infected around him, and the fact that he doesn't have any pants. Now, Deku quickly made his way out of the hive, and he tried to make his way into the buildings nearby to hide. He has no weapons, no equipment, no clothes, no radio, and nobody to come save him. And this means a bit. Deku's not too sure what really happened. He fell into that water, everything's a little hazy, the truck. That's where his memory let his end. Getting that fucking thing down there. Just driving straight and then everything sort of blurs. Just this massive shooting pain. He was infected. Deku currently looking at his hands. A lot going through his mind. And right now, Deku needs to do a few things. Currently him searching around the area for some clothes. And eventually finding a dead survivor down the road. Now, Deku, he didn't really want to do it, but he took the man's clothes and gear. And right now, he's got a few things going through his mind. Getting back to Setsuna and Nejire. Getting back to the whole team. It does mean a lot. Though the bomb didn't go off. Divine intervention? Luck? Maybe. But what else could it really be? This is going through his head. And currently Deku, he does bring his hand up. Currently him walking past the building, as the moment he's gonna walk past that wall, here's a turn. Him making direct eye contact with an infected. Him bringing his hands up as a zombie with a turn. It staring at him and being a shameful way towards him. And Deku, he does think about what to do. It's a simple one. Right now him bringing his hand out and clocking it across the head. as it is sent flying down the road and smashing into the alleyway. And Deku, Hiro watches his head popped. In this, it does sort of intrigue him. Him pulling his hand back and thinking of this is. No, wait a minute. He was infected. There's no cure. I see you figured it out. Him turning up and seeing somebody who does come falling down from a building and gonna land. Them standing up as Deku does watch the man's eyes glow purple and then return back to normal. Him gonna step forwards, expressing. He has to really say he's a big fan. You're Sir Night-Eye. I am. Yes, I am. I've been watching you very, very carefully, and I've seen this moment. I've seen many of the things that you will do. I've seen everything. Most of it. I've seen the end, and I've seen the beginning. You don't understand what you are. I'm stepping forwards, telling Izuku. He has been reborn. Fact of the matter is, most of them have been reborn. Given the chance by those waters to walk the earth again, it is a new stage of human evolution. It's beautiful, is it not? And Deku steps backwards a bit. Night-Eye watching Izuku. As Deku, he does stare at the man. Night-Eye expressing not to be afraid. Fact of the matter is, he saw us all go down. The boy has extraordinary abilities. He'll even find that some of them are interesting. Though, he'll want to be careful. But he must be hungry. He is still young. And Deku stares at Night-Eye confused. The man looks deranged. His smile, it's perverse. Insane? He's lost his mind. But no. That would make a bit of sense. Deku looking at his hand and realizing something. His skin seems. No. It is paler, isn't it? He thought it was just because of the moonlight, but. No. He's dead? Him bringing his hand up, feeling that he still does have a heartbeat. So that's the thing that doesn't understand. He can feel his heart pumping in his chest. His mind feels clear. But then when he looks up at Night-Eye, he's insane. Deranged? Oh, was he like this before? And Deku steps back slowly. The man bringing his hands up, trying to calm Deku down. Almost like he's a cornered animal, and Night-Eye's just trying to help. And the man does begin to somewhat ramble. Can't he see? This is singularity. This is the event that was always destined to happen, ever since it was first theorized. Humanity will evolve. That is what creatures do. They will always find a way to survive. And while humans won't do that in the traditional sense, that is what this is. Can't he see? They are something new. They will not die. Not in the traditional sense. Though he will know that. He has known that. He has seen it. There is a lot those waters can do. There's so much they can do. He must know. He must see them. Does he hear them? Can he hear them too? Just rejoice in their voices. They must listen. Bring about the new age of evolution. Let them all witness it. And Deku does stare at Night-Eye. Him still somewhat backing away. And the man does stare at Izuku. Him shouting about louder, does he hear them? And Deku looks at Sir Night-Eye. The man's face smiling, wide-eyed and deranged. However, he does go lower his hands. He doesn't. Do you not hear them? Can you not hear the chorus? The symphony? An culmination of knowledge. An archive. things that you cannot see. Him turning his head, a bit more like a questionable animal. And Deku sees the way his face does this turn. From happy to angry. And then like he's hunting. Like an animal about to pounce on its prey. And Deku, he does not like that. Currently, him stepping forwards, bringing his hand up and thinking about it. Currently, Deku throwing his hand out as Night Eye would bring his hand up. Him going to bring his eyes open. Him seeing a flash as Renokid does a punch Draki at Deku. And Deku would a dodge, bring his hand up and uppercutting Sir Night Eye. As the man is flying upwards and smashing into a wall. And Deku, he just won't watch that. Him a little bit more surprised. Super strength. Okay, so I'm gonna turn. Being to bolt down the road. And Izuku does find himself moving fast. Right now his abilities are amped. And he's apparently undead. So this is definitely going to take some getting used to. Deku running down the road. And we do actually have Sir Night Eye, who didn't predict that one little thing. Currently him being crushed by some of the rubble that is going to fall off of the building. And covering his body. Him going to try and stand up and get off of the ground. However, he does find himself a little bit more encased than he'd like to. Him going to whistle. And we do actually have Izuku, who currently, as he was running and got 3 blocks away, he heard that sound. Bring his hands up, covering his ears. Going to start scream out as he went to go drop to the ground. And this is going to draw a lot of attention. There were people nearby, and there was also infected. You take a guess. Which one do you think will get to him first? My money's on the infected. But those people, they were definitely concerned. Because that sounded like somebody may have gotten caught. And currently Deku, he does lay on the ground. Him trying to block out that noise as it doesn't finally stop. And currently, Deku would return, climbing back to his feet and going to see a... What the fuck is that thing? Him staring at it, as in the creature just come flying down. Deku turning his head as a grab onto his shirt and pick him up. Currently, Deku bringing his hand up, grabbing it by its legs. As a group of people do see a guy get picked up from the ground and a bat go flying up into the air. And Deku, he would grab it by the legs. Currently, him going to try and pull it off as this creature digged its claws right into his shoulders. And Deku, he could feel it trying to break the bones on his arms. However, Deku, he was just going to snap its legs as it starts to scream out. It going to try and let go of Izuku as Deku crushes through the bones in his body and begins to fall. Him smashing down and landing onto a car. Him going to just lay there for a second and then just don't sit up. Him just a lot more surprised. Okay. Deku finding the piece of flesh still stuck to his hands. Him going to actually turn and slash his hands towards the ground. Him having the flesh shoot off of it as it landed on the ground and always don't stare at his hands. Him rolling off of the car and onto the ground. Trying to just catch his breath. Gain a sense of self. And we do currently have Sir Night Eye, who after he whistled, he could hear Izuku scream. And somebody else, they heard that as well. As currently a massive piece of rubble is lifted from the ground, and it is then turned and thrown down to the side, as a hand is reached down for Sir Night Eye. The man bringing his hand up and being pulled from some of the rubble, him pushing a piece off of himself and bringing his hand up. Currently, him grabbing his head and going to readjust his head, because his spine, it did break, along with the fact that the flesh does begin to move back into place properly. Sir Night Eye turning to his companion, expressing, it seems that there's something wrong. He believed that this was going to be the new age, but perhaps not. Their little companion will have to take some time to come around, see things their way. They have enough time. It's on their side, of course. Though, this does have him concerned. When it does happen, he'd rather the boy be on their side. Wouldn't he agree? And Mario, he was on nod, him giving a toothy grin, as the two do a turn, making their way into the night, since things are a little bit more interesting now. Night plan is coming through. It is happening, though he doesn't fully understand all of it. But he does trust Sir Night. He does trust his mentor. And we do currently cut back to Izuku, who currently is walking down the road and trying to figure things out. His clothes torn, and him just trying to get a handle on everything. He's alive. He's himself. Sir Night was fucking deranged. Sir Night is a fucking zombie. He's a fucking zombie, apparently. But voices, that doesn't make sense. Oh God, he feels like he's gonna puke. No, he can't go back to everyone like this then. For the love of God, he can't go back there. But he has to let them know somehow, right? No, they think he died. They all think he's dead. No, fuck. Why did he have to come back? That in Izuku's mind. And currently, we do actually have where Deku, he's trying to think about everything. A place to go. A place to be. Someplace familiar to him. And right now, Deku, he does have one idea. He was infected by Jiro. And Jiro was infected at UA. UA is one of the only places he can think of right now. I mean, people don't go there because they suspect others of being there. I mean, it's a good assumption. But they're expecting a hive. There was a lot of heroes there. Honestly, thinking about it, a zombified ectoplasm, that's pretty fucking scary. The good thing about it, currently, him going to walk into the building after traveling to the school. His clothes somewhat covered in a bit of blood. And right now, Deku, he does go to listen. Him hearing a sound as we do cut to a room where Mina, she just won't sit there. The fire crackling as she does chew her food. Currently, her licking the blood from her hands. And then going to turn, looking back at the fire. Her reaching her hand out and grabbing onto the still, roasting meat. Her pulling it off and then going to rip it off of the spike she does have. Her shoving the spike down into another piece before going to turn and shove it back over the fire. Her burrowing her hands down and grabbing and sinking her teeth into the pieces. Her letting go of the spike as it does begin to cook. And Mina, she is trying her best to eat her fill. Trying her best to keep that sense of herself she does have. And right now, after eating this massive chunk, she just won't slow down. Her staying there for a second and going to look down at the ground. Her backing away and then going to bring her feet up. Her balling herself into a ball and sitting there for a minute. Just a little bit more herself. They stopped talking. They stopped. They stopped. She found enough. She found enough. This is going through her mind. And there currently is Deku. He has him walking down the hallway. Currently, him making a sound with his next step. Her turning her head and looking around. Right now, it being a little bit more intriguing, as she's on high alert. hearing a heartbeat. And this does make her somewhat go to stand. Deku, hearing a sound as Mina just step out into the hallway. Her making way down to one of the rooms she does have connected into her little maze. Her little game she likes to play. This little fun. She gets to play with her friends. However, Zuko, he's not here for that. Currently, him whistling out. And right now, Mina, she has come walking around. Her getting to see the person walking down the hallway. And it does mean a bit. Her stirring on. And Deku, he just won't stop. Him turning his head as Mina does a duck back. Him expressing. He knows that she's here. He knows someone's here. It's Mina, right? You know, it's him. It's Izuku. Her curly don't step out. You're alive. Why are you here? You finally gone beautiful. Hers don't smile, and Deku sees it as well. Her face. She was eating, and that fire. He can smell it. Along with something that honestly does make his mouth no, no. It no. Oh god, no. It's gotta be human. Deku bring his mouth his hand up to his mouth. Amina will go to see it. Currently her a little confused. Because Izuku is trying to resist the hunger. Her stepping out and bring her hands up. No, don't do that. Deku turning his head. Currently him holding up a spike to Mina. And she would go to somewhat tell him. If he resist, her backing away a bit. Cowering a little bit, leaning over. It gets worse. You frenzy. You eat anything. Everything. Not good. Not good. Voices get louder. Harder to ignore. Harder to listen to. Drown you out. Hit your brain. Make it mush. Things get harder to focus on. Less yourself. Don't fight. And Deku stares at her. Her does not walk forwards. Him still holding up the weapon as she does have tears in her eyes. Trying to tell him not to leave. She wants a friend. She doesn't want to be alone. He won't leave her, right? She's lonely. Please, she just doesn't want to be here alone. Whenever it's night, it's dark. The fire. She has fire. It's fire. Come. I'm gonna turn, making our way back to that room. And Deku honestly doesn't know what to do. She's lost it. He didn't know what to expect, but he was hoping for. No. Oh, what she's saying. It doesn't seem right. Currently, him gonna follow. Amina does sit there. Deku finding her in a room that does have the wall mostly destroyed. Him assuming it must have been from Todoroki's attack or somebody's. The wall is somewhat burned, but right now, that's not really his main concern. His main concern is understanding what he might have turned into and how to maybe end it. I mean, it was scary, but some of his memory is still gone. He got into the water somehow, right? So, if he got in there and came out, then you're thinking. I'm looking up. and seeing Mina, who does sit there on top of a sleeping bag, the fire illuminating her face. How does it feel? Weird. I don't know what to do. How am I back? How. How what? How am I alive? I don't feel like you, I guess. Hungry? Hunger gets worse. Days go by. Her bring with a spike, expressing, is he hungry? And looking down, seeing the flesh that honestly does seem a little bit more appealing to him. However, he knows it's from, and he doesn't want to eat. But that is another concern of his. They're talking about these voices. And Deku, he does try to ask Mina about it. Her sitting there in a bit of a ball. Her a bit happy to have someone to talk to. However, the subject she's trying very cautiously to talk about. She's dancing around it a bit, like a cautious fairy tale. He doesn't like it. Last time he saw her, she was deranged. She was talking about friends and she caught a fucking. That's a whole thing. He should have killed her, put her down. But he can use her, right? Find out how to control this and find out what to do. Fix himself. Dr. Chizuki. Maybe he knows how to fix it. No. If he comes back to him, he'll want to run tests. He'll be quarantined. Things won't be good. Okay. Maybe find out what to do there. Figure this all out. What are you doing? What? You were not saying things. I like to say things. Helps me remember me. Me. Be. Me. No. Me. Am. Me. Are. Her. Me. Mina. That's me. Mina. Sorry. It comes and goes. It takes time to focus again. Be quiet. Be me. Again. I like it. Is this what you've been going through? Her looking up and staring at Izuku. Her expressing, with just a simple nod. And Deku will bring his hand up to his hair, running his fingers through it as she would his own comment. White hair. Deku confused. Him bring his hand up and trying to get a bit of a look. And in the corner of his vision, he does get to see it. Are you serious? Okay. Honestly, he didn't know what to expect. Though, that is a bit concerning. It being one of the things going through his mind. And Izuku, he's got a few things concerned about him right now. Find out what's going on with him and get a doctor that has his blood? Maybe. He has an idea, though. Something to do? Something to figure out. Okay. Currently, Deku bringing his hand up, looking at one of his nails and bringing it up to his wrist. Him going to dig his nail into his wrist and finding he does feel a bit of a pain. However, he has his own slighted a bit. Currently, him going to actually watch the skin go to break and blood begin to pour a bit from the wound. And Izuku, he does have an idea. Him going to stand as Mina does sit there. Her going to turn and bring her hand up, asking if he's leaving. not to leave. Stay. And Winslow turned, telling her, he'll stay. I'll be right back. He's got a few things to think of. Hercules would lower her hands and sit there by the fire as she somewhat watches crackle, remaining quiet. And Deku, he does somewhat walk into the hallway, trying to find that science lab he knows the school does have. And currently, he has a few things going through his head. A few that should be good, though at the same time, bad. And right now, we do cut back over to the base, where people, they begin to arrive. Currently, while Izuku is doing his own little thing, Bakugo and Kendo pull back up to the manor, and they're allowed in. However, this is where things are a bit more intriguing. Wherever the group does go to arrive, and things are somewhat settled, there currently is Deku, who does go to approach the manor. Currently him dressed in some gear, and somebody, they do go to see him. Currently, Deku, walking towards the house with a hoodie on, make sure to cover his face, along with that trying to cover his eyes, since he found out that they're a bit more interesting. And this does mean a bit. Right now, him making his way towards the manor, walking up to the gate as somebody did get an alert on the radio. Currently, Deku setting down a vial and then going to turn. Him going to walk away. And currently, a group, they do approach the gate. Deku turning and bolting off. And this, it does make the sniper currently a little concerned. Them seeing the note along with the vial on the ground. Though, from this angle, they can't see what it reads. And that person, they must have some pretty fucking good endurance. Because the way they're running for their fucking life. And that does get to their mind. As, right now, Bakugo, he does go approaching the gate. It gonna open up as there's no bomb, like they may have suspected. There's nobody out here. And right now he has to walk forwards, walking over and bending down. As he picks up the paper and looks at the vial on the ground. Him a bit more cautious. This is a message. It's simple. I know you have a doctor. Test this. Hard to obtain. Smart zombie blood. It's weird. And this, it does have one small message signed. D. And Bakugo stares at that. Because his handwriting is a little familiar. Currently when it's on turn, a bit more cautious about this. It's been a long day. He's been on the road for a few hours. Him and Kendo. He's had a lot on his mind. And this might be one of the last things he wants to think about. However, after picking up the blood, he goes on turn, staring at the dark red liquid. In this, it does make him a bit curious. As you actually cut to Izuku, who made his way back into the city and currently does pull down the hood to his jacket. Him walking down the road with a lot going through his mind. Because this, it's going to be intriguing. There's a lot to say about it. Deliver another vial next week. Ask about a message. Leave one there. Talk with the group that way. Protect them? No. He has to make sure that Mina is docile. She's clearly still in there somewhere. But she's not like him. And then there's Night Eye. Night Eye's another concern. Though, Is he gonna turn out like that? Oh God. It's an idea. The good thing about it, he might ask for a gun in exchange. Just a gun. In case of, well, you know, that going through his mind. It's not a good idea. He gets a second chance at life, and he just puts another bullet through his head. He takes himself out again. It's kind of ironic. And with that being said, we do actually have Dr. Chizaki, who he was given this blood and wasn't too sure what to say about it. The person outside their camp claimed it to be unique, claimed it to be different. However, whenever he began to run a bit of tests on it, he saw exactly how different this really was. And it did mean a lot. Whatever this blood came from, it doesn't look to be human. Though, that's the thing. The markers in it, the way the DNA is, it's beautiful. But this is, he has to write notes. This will be good for his research. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.